Let me ask you something straight up. When was the last time a four-door sedan genuinely surprised you, not impressed you on paper, not looked good in a press photo, but actually made your jaw drop when you saw what it could do in the real world? Because right now, in 2026, the sports sedan segment is doing things that nobody predicted 5 years ago. We've got American muscle hanging with German precision. We've got electric motors humiliating supercharged V8s at the drag strip. And we've got at least 2 cars on this list that, 10 years from now, people are going to be kicking themselves for not buying when they had the chance. I've been following this segment for a long time, and I'll be honest with you, this particular group of cars is unlike anything we've seen before. Some of these are the last of their kind. Some of them are pointing toward a future that not everyone's comfortable with. And a couple of them are just flat out the best driver's cars ever stuffed into a 4-door body. We're counting down from 5 to 1, and I'm going to give you the real story on each one, what they actually cost to own, what makes them worth your money, and which ones I'd actually put my own name on the dotted line for. Stay with me all the way through, because number 1 is going to start an argument in the comments, and I want you armed with the facts before you weigh in. Let's get into it. Number 5. 2026 Porsche Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid. We're getting into territory where the gap between sports sedan and outright supercar starts to blur in a way that's genuinely difficult to explain to someone who hasn't experienced it. The Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid combines a twin-turbo 4.0-liter V8 with a front-mounted electric motor for a combined 771 horsepower and 737 pound-feet of torque. 8-speed PDK, all-wheel drive, 2.8-second, 0 to 60, 202 mile-per-hour top speed. Those numbers would have been extraordinary from any sports car 5 years ago, let alone a 4-door luxury sedan that can comfortably seat 4 adults on a transcontinental road trip. But the number that Porsche is most proud of with the 2026 Panamera isn't horsepower, it's the active ride suspension system. This is a world-first technology, and it works differently from anything else currently available. Hydraulically interlinked adaptive dampers can counter body roll, dive under braking, and squat under acceleration in milliseconds. The car physically leans into corners like a motorcycle instead of fighting the forces acting on it. Passengers in the rear seat don't feel road surface changes. It's a level of refinement that sounds like engineering hyperbole until you're actually sitting in it on a broken road surface and realizing you can barely tell. Those forged 21-inch wheels expose 10-piston front Brembo calipers, which is a serious brake specification. When you're moving a car of this weight at 200 miles per hour, the stopping hardware matters as much as the horsepower. Inside, you get 18-way adaptive sport seats, a 12.6-inch curved driver display, an optional 10.9-inch passenger touchscreen with streaming and gaming access, Burmester 3D surround sound, 4-zone climate control, and 64 selectable cabin lighting colors. This is a car that doesn't make you choose between a performance machine and a luxury car, because it genuinely excels at both simultaneously. Starting price around $235,000, which is a significant commitment. But if you're the kind of person who drives hard, travels in comfort, and wants one car that does everything at the highest possible level, the Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid has a very compelling argument to make. Number 4. 2026 Mercedes-AMG GT63 S E Performance 4-door. This is where the conversation shifts from fast to genuinely extraordinary. The GT63 SE Performance uses a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 assembled by a single technician from start to finish. AMG calls this their one-man, one-engine philosophy, and it matters because it creates a level of individual accountability in the build process that assembly line production simply can't match. That V8 teams with a rear-axle electric motor for a combined 805 horsepower and 1,047 pound-feet of torque in overboost, 2.7 seconds to 60 miles per hour, top speed of 199 miles per hour. The engineering detail that separates this car from everything else is the powertrain layout. AMG mounted the battery pack low in the rear of the car, between the rear wheels, specifically to optimize weight distribution. They also fitted a dedicated 2-speed electric gearbox for the rear motor, a configuration you simply don't find anywhere else in this segment. Most electric assist systems use a single-speed unit. The 2-speed setup keeps the electric motor in its most efficient operating range across a broader speed spectrum, which means the performance is more consistent from a rolling start than it is from a dead stop. Digital light headlamps projecting 1.3 million pixels per side, frameless doors that give it a genuinely dramatic visual presence, and a deployable rear wing that rises automatically above 50 miles per hour, this car makes its intent clear from every angle. Inside, AMG Performance seats in Napa leather with diamond stitching, dual 12.3-inch displays running M-Bucks with AMG track pace, a Burmester 4D system with body resonance transducers built into the seat structures that let you physically feel the audio, and an illuminated AMG steering wheel. Starting price around $200,000. For the money, the GT63 S E Performance is the most complete performance machine on this list up to this point. Everything about it feels purposeful. Number 3. 2026 Audi RS e-tron GT Performance. Here's where some of you are going to want to close the tab, and I'd ask you to stay with me for a minute before you do. The RS e-tron GT Performance is fully electric, and I know that's not what every person watching this right now wanted to hear. But when a car accelerates to 60 miles per hour in 2.4 seconds and does it from 4 doors and a full interior, you have to include it on a list like this regardless of what's under the hood. The dual permanent magnet motors deliver up to 912 horsepower with launch control engaged. That's not a typo. The engineering story here is the 2-speed rear gearbox, which is rare in the electric vehicle world. Most electric cars use a single fixed ratio, which means their acceleration advantage diminishes significantly at highway speeds once the motor runs out of its most efficient operating range. The 2-speed unit in the e-tron GT keeps the acceleration violent at freeway merging speeds where single-speed EVs start to soften up. It's a small technical detail that makes a meaningful real-world difference. That optional carbon fiber roof with electrochromic glass featuring 9 individually switchable segments is worth calling out. You can shade specific sections of the roof independently through the touchscreen, which sounds like a novelty until you're on a long summer drive and your passenger is getting blasted by afternoon sun while you're fine. The push-to-pass boost button unlocks an additional 94 horsepower for 10-second bursts. Audi borrowed that concept directly from Formula E racing, where drivers get a limited number of push-to-pass activations per race. Napa leather sport seats, a 12.3-inch virtual cockpit, Dynamica microfiber on the steering wheel, and a 16-speaker Bang & Olufsen 3D system inside. Starting price around $170,000. For anyone who's been skeptical about electric performance cars, the e-tron GT Performance is the car I'd point you toward for a test drive. Not because I'm going to tell you what to think about electric vehicles, but because the experience has a way of updating some assumptions that were formed before the technology got to where it is today. Number 2. 2026 Porsche Taycan Turbo GT. 2 cars left, and number 2 comes from the same company that's been winning at Le Mans for decades. That context matters, because the Taycan Turbo GT is not a Porsche built for the showroom floor. It's a Porsche built for the circuit. Dual electric motors with overboost deliver up to 1,019 horsepower through a 2-speed rear gearbox and all-wheel drive. 0 to 60 in 2.1 seconds. Top speed of 190 miles per hour with the Weissach package. Those are numbers that have no business coming from a car with rear doors. The Weissach package is the version I want to spend a moment on because it tells you everything about Porsche's priorities with this car. It removes the rear seats entirely, replacing them with a bonded carbon fiber structural panel that saves nearly 75 pounds. Titanium wheel bolts at every corner, a fixed carbon rear wing borrowed directly from the 911 GT3 road car program, carbon fiber mirror housings, lightweight 21-inch magnesium wheels. Every decision in that package is about removing weight and adding stability at speeds where it actually matters. The attack mode button, again pulled straight from Formula E, delivers a 10-second power burst on demand, and Porsche engineered the charging system so that the Taycan can go from 10 to 80% on a 320 kilowatt DC fast charger in just 18 minutes. On a road trip, that's a meaningful number. Inside, race-inspired carbon bucket seats, a 16.8-inch curved driver display, a microfiber steering wheel with a yellow center stripe, and a roll cage option for track day buyers who want to run this thing in an actual competition context. Starting price around $230,000. The Taycan Turbo GT is the most focused, most track-oriented sports sedan on this entire list. If you know what you want from a performance car and lap times matter to you, this is the one. Number 1. 2026 Lucid Air Sapphire. The number one car on this list is going to surprise some of you, and I suspect a few of you already know exactly what it is and why it's here. The 2026 Lucid Air Sapphire runs 3 permanent magnet motors, 2 in the rear, 1 up front. Combined, they produce 1,234 horsepower and 1,430 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 miles per hour in 1.89 seconds. Through the quarter mile in 8.85 seconds. Top speed of 205 miles per hour. And then, this is the part that genuinely changes the conversation. 427 miles of EPA-rated range from a single charge. Read those numbers again slowly. Because no combustion-powered sports sedan on this list or any other list comes anywhere near 427 miles of range. No combustion car produces 1,234 horsepower in a package this size. And nothing in the segment touches that 1.89 second 0 to 60 time. The Lucid Air Sapphire doesn't win one category and compromise on the others. It leads in every measurable performance metric simultaneously. The technology that enables all of it is Lucid's own 900-volt electrical architecture. A higher voltage system means lower current draw for the same power output, which reduces heat, reduces charging time, and reduces energy loss in the system. It's a more efficient way to move electrons, and Lucid developed it in-house rather than sourcing it from a supplier. On a Lucid DC fast charger, you can add 200 miles of range in about 12 minutes. The torque vectoring system on the rear dual motor unit physically rotates the car through corners. Not by breaking an inside wheel, but by actively directing torque between the motors in a way that initiates rotation the same way a skilled driver would with throttle. Carbon ceramic brakes with 10-piston front calipers, Sapphire-exclusive forged wheels wearing Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, and a track-tuned air suspension with adaptive dampers round out the mechanical package. Inside, 18-way Sapphire performance seats in Alcantara and Mojave Pure Luxe leather, a 34-inch curved glass cockpit display that is the largest screen in any production car currently available, a Dolby Atmos 21-speaker Surreal Sound Pro audio system, and 4-zone climate control. Starting price around $250,000. Is it the most emotionally engaging car on this list? That depends entirely on what engages you. If it's a supercharger whine and a manual gearbox, then no. But if what engages you is performance capability in its purest, most objective form, the fastest, the most powerful, the longest range, the quickest charging, then the Lucid Air Sapphire is not just the best sports sedan of 2026. It's the best sports sedan ever built. All right, that's the full list. 5 sports sedans, 5 very different answers to the same question. What does the ultimate 4-door performance car look like in 2026? Here's what I want to know from you. Which one of these would you actually sign for? Not the fastest one, not the most expensive one, but the one you'd actually want parked in your driveway and driven every day. Because for a lot of people watching this, the answer is the Cadillac or the BMW, not the $250,000 electric from a brand that didn't exist 15 years ago. And that's a completely legitimate position. Drop your pick in the comments and tell me why. I read them, and the ones with actual reasoning behind them are the ones worth responding to. If you're new here and this is the kind of content you're looking for, honest, detailed, no-nonsense coverage of the cars that actually matter, hit subscribe. We've got a lot more coming. Thanks for watching.